and then we'll get a ride over one of the latest sort of cars in the market. So without any ado, let's get started. The science of staying sharp, empowering seniors, empowering us. Explained on the program today, brain boosting tips, simple swaps to supercharge our health, especially when it comes to the elderly. We'll get you some expert tips. Our Monday morning inspiration coming in from Admiral Arti Sarin, who's leading the Armed Forces Medical Services, the first woman to become a DG and take up this position. We sit down with her to understand this incredible journey. Meanwhile, Delhi NCR, the weather's getting nice, but can't say so with the pollution levels. Air quality hits toxic levels. It's hit about 606 AQI in Anand Vihar area. We'll bring you a check of pollution levels across the country. And also coming up on the program, the Kia EV9. It's been launched in this festive season. A lot of buzz around it. What are the first impressions and the final overdrive verdict? That's coming up. Let's start the program today with the latest study that has come out. It's a major new study released by the very reputed Lancet, which talks about neurology and how it has evolved over the years. And what it says is quite staggering, that more than 3 billion people worldwide are living with neurological conditions. In fact, WHO contributed to this analysis, saying that neurological conditions are now the leading cause of ill health and disability worldwide. Since 1990, the absolute number of individuals living with or dying from neurological conditions has increased by 18%. Majority of these neurological deaths, in fact, are over 80% of them occur in low and middle income countries, mostly due to access to treatment, access to healthcare, access to information as well. The study also concluded the top 10 neurological conditions that lead to death. This includes stroke, neonatal brain injury, migraine, dementia, diabetic neuropathy, which is sort of a nerve damage that happens, meningitis, epilepsy, neurological complications from preterm birth, autism spectrum disorder, nervous system cancers, all of these. Interestingly, the neurological conditions cause more disability in men compared to women. However, there are some conditions like migraine or dementia where women are disproportionately affected. So lots to unpack from this Lancet report, but let's keep our focus today this morning on the elderly. Seeing our parents age is one of the hardest things all of us can conclude, and neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's can be a major concern because there is no cure. A lot of these are genetic, but also interestingly, the study says that a lot of them are contributors from our lifestyle. So on the program today, we focus on how to prevent this in the elderly, and if not to prevent, how to at least delay the onset of any neurological condition. Joining us on the program today is Dr. Puneet Rana. He's HOD Neurosurgery, MBBS MS at the Yatharth Super Speciality Hospital. Also with us this morning, we've got Dr. Chinu Agarwal, Director of Feeling Minds. She's a PhD and international affiliate of the American Psychology Association. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Let me begin with you, Dr. Rana. The numbers that have been thrown up by this study are very, very staggering. They talk about how neurological deaths, conditions are perhaps one of the leading causes, and now even bigger or as big as diabetes in across the world. The numbers that they have spoken about is a dramatic rise that we have seen over a period of the last decade or so. of 43% global population actually succumbing to neurological disorders. Give me your own understanding of how this happens in India, for example, where diabetes is already such a leading cause of concern.
I would like to first of all slightly modify it. It's not exactly the neurological disorders. It is basically the causes of morbidity and mortality in which the brain and the spinal cord is involved. So it can be some diseases, which are affecting the body outside the
Yeah.
nervous system, but it is involving the nervous system. So when you involve all these factors, that there are some diseases which are involving outside the neuraxis, but they are involving the brain as a secondary target, then this number increases staggeringly. So when we talk about the old age, the maximum cause of morbidity and mortality is the cardiovascular reasons, that is the stroke or any diseases which are giving rise to the bleeding in the brain. So when you talk about the stroke is a global killer. So when you talk about the deaths, almost 30% of the deaths are attributed to the stroke, and it is a global killer. And if you talk about the degenerative conditions, then the Parkinsonism, Alzheimer's are the leading causes, and then obviously the tumors. So when you take all of these together, it is contributing to somewhere around 40%. So I agree to what the numbers have come out to be in the study.
I see. But if you look at the numbers closely, so far we had talked about how a lot of these diseases that we've also highlighted, we are playing those on our screen as well for our viewers, are genetic. But a major contributor to these are lifestyle factors. It includes things like pollution, it includes obesity, it includes diet as well. So Dr. Rana, what in your opinion is happening here when it comes to the diseases, and are we seeing an early onset as well, just like the case of cardiovascular diseases?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. See, whenever we talk about the final common result, it is dependent upon a lot of factors, and all the factors they pencil onto the final common result. So the contributory factors could be genetic, it could be the way you have lived your life, or the way the outside contaminants have impacted your body. All of it, the final common pathway is the result that you are getting. So when you are talking about the stroke, the sedentary habits which are creeping into our society, the lack of exercises, and obviously the kind of food that we are eating, which is a drastic change from what the food was being eaten, let us talk about 20 or 30 years back. And obviously the carcinogens, if you're talking about the carcinogens, we are talking about whatever you are eating or whatever you are getting inside the body by your respiration or other things, So all these things, they contribute to the diseases which are creeping into our body. So I agree that the kind of, the lifestyle which has changed in the last 20 to 30 years, one generation only, and the food that we are eating, the contaminants that we are, exposed to our body, they are all contributing to this fact. If we talk about the stroke, if the cholesterol level increases in our body, for example, there has been an advent of diabetes in the society. The blood pressures are increasing. If we talk about the baseline blood pressures, the society, they are increasing. The stress level, the importance of exercise, it cannot be overemphasized. I think all these factors, they are contributing to whatever we are seeing right now.
Right. Dr. Agarwal, come in on this one. Also what the study has flagged off is the importance of preventive measures to actually reduce the risk of developing some of these conditions, and importantly lowering sort of high blood pressure and the rest of it. And on TBC we love to talk about solutions. So can you give us some bits in which people can, especially the elderly, people in their 50s and 60s, I don't know if they consider themselves elderly anymore, but people in that age bracket can do to ensure that they keep their mind and body fit?
Yeah. So, yes, let's talk about solutions. There are certain things that we can't do about anything about, but there are certain things that we can do a lot about. One of them is being flexible. And when it comes to flexibility, it's not only about the body, stretching your body, moving your body, but at the same time, doing some things with your mind. So I would like to assess any person who is talking to me on this. Are you having any purpose in life? Is your life meaningful and purposeful? If yes, then you look forward to getting up and going about the day. You know, uh, don't take retirements. I mean, make your life some useful for some cause, something, or keep doing something. So this kind of activity. And the second thing is, when we are talking about flexibility, the one of the psychological barriers that we face while dealing with elderly is the rigid cognitive opinions, or the conditioning, or the patterns that they have got into. This can be broken when you are open to learning new things. And the good news is that even in the elderly, new neurons are made. So this neuroplasticity is alive, which is a new research. Earlier, we used to say that neurons can be generated only up to a certain age in the childhood, or even till the infant is born, and after that, no new neurons are created. But taking advantage of this, if we say that focus on learning new languages, learning new puzzles, solving puzzles like Sudoku, Ken in the morning, talking to people, being socially engaged and active. And so these morning clubs in the societies where there are senior citizens bonding with each other, doing activities, doing competitions, arts and crafts, and engaging themselves is a big booster to brain health. Also, when we talk about taking care of them, we really have this attitude of doing certain things for them. Can we change it to doing things with them? Involving ourselves in our lives and involving them in in the decisions that we are taking, in the things that we are doing in our lives, asking for their opinions. And so in parenting, we always say going from the telling mode to the asking mode. Let's do it for our parents as well. Rather than telling them, you should do this, you should go for a morning walk, you should be doing this, you should, and expecting that they should take care of themselves like they have taken care of themselves all their lives, and we were never bothered of those kind of responsibilities. Why can't we, acknowledge and accept that they are aging? Of course, you said in the prelude to the show that
you've said lots of interesting things, Dr. Agarwal, but I just want to channelize this once. I think a massive takeaway here is that treat your parents, and especially those elderly at home, by not telling them what to do, but engage with them. Like, do it with them. I think that involvement is great. Now, there are enough and more books and studies, and you're absolutely right, which lay emphasis on developing new skills in your senior years. It could be a language, it could be a new hobby, and that's what really keeps your mind stimulated as well. But my question is slightly different, and let me bring in Dr. Rana here as well. For those who have dementia running in the family, for those who have diabetes running in the family, for those who have high blood pressure running in the family, is there clinical evidence now that it can be avoided completely? Is that the case? And if yes, how? Dr. Rana first, and I'll go to Dr. Agarwal as well.
I would like to give you some hope and obviously tell you the facts also. See, health is not an all or none phenomenon. Lack of health is not zero, and absolute health, which is an unknown entity, is not 100. It's a continuum. So what I can say is that let us talk about diabetes. So there is no way that if you are having a high genetic component of diabetes, I mean anybody can say that you will not have diabetes. But yes, if you maintain your weight, if you exercise regularly, if you take care of what you eat, if you have lifestyle modifications, then you can reduce your chances of getting diabetes, or you can reduce your chances of getting diabetes at an earlier age. So there are studies which are showing that if you are having an absolutely, to take care of all these avoidable factors away, then there are 16 to 20% chances that you cannot have the diseases which you are supposed to have. So if you are leading a simplified life and you avoid contaminants, you are having a very disciplined life, you exercise daily, you watch what you eat, then you can prevent in these avoidable cases almost 16 to 20% of the factors which could have happened in your life, like that, like diabetes, like blood pressure. These are avoidable factors by some extent, but yes, it is absolutely not an all or none phenomenon or solution.
Okay, but what about other things like dementia? What about Parkinson's? Is there a way we can put that on hold as well? Dr. Rana, quickly.
Parkinsonism, let us talk about the idiopathic Parkinsonism. It occurs at the age of somewhere around 60 to 65 years, and it is exacerbated by some factors like repeated trauma to the brain, by the stress, by obviously the diabetes and the blood pressures and the contaminants, the pollutants. So if a person was supposed to have the Parkinsonism at, let us say, the age of 65, he or she might have it at an earlier age, for example, 57, 58 years of age. So we cannot totally prevent it. We can only delay it if there are genetic components present. And when it happens, it always helps that you catch them early. For example, if you are having a tremor going on at one part of your body, you can go to the doctor. You can ask your doctor that you are having these symptoms. Can you please evaluate it? There are now questionnaire by which we can catch the Parkinsonism early, and when you catch them early, the medication is started early, then we can delay the course of the treatment. For example, if you are going to have this complication at this age, we can prevent it further. So some hope and some no hope. I would like to be more realistic, like a surgeon.
I think that's a good way to go about, and appreciate that, Dr. Rana. Dr. Agarwal, come in then on the delay that we can do. So there are certain neurological conditions which perhaps one has to accept if you have been gifted with that gene pool in one form or the other. But you can delay. There is a way to live with it as well. So do you have techniques that people can follow?
Yeah, one of the things that we can do is mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Sometimes we confuse it with meditation or something that we'll have to sit at one place and do, and it is tedious or it is difficult to do. Mindfulness is a simpler form of meditation, and the good news is that it has research and evidence base in psychological practice, and it is coming up as a technique to be present. Especially the elderly, they have a tendency to dwell on the past more, or they have a tendency of not having any hope for the future, or rather giving up on future and saying that bas ab ho gaya, and we rehna hi kitna hai, and all those attitudes. Whenever I go westward, whether it is London or other parts of Europe, you see 80, 90 people being independent and active, and they are not having this attitude of, bas ho gaya. But here, as you said, 50 onwards, we have started saying ki budapa aa gaya, and we are going towards, the last phase of our life. So one thing that helps us is mindfulness, being able to stay in the present. And how do you do it? By anchoring your five senses, involving them, dabbling in colors, using your eyes not for the screen all the time. It's surprising to see how elderly have taken up to this form of entertainment, and all the time they're glued
Yes.
to their
Yes.
mobile phones, and it is really surprising to see that they are not, even if we make ourselves available to talk to them, they are not available anymore. So helping them to disconnect and disengage with this form of entertainment and taking them to some active form of recreation, where they're enjoying with their senses, listening to some good music, having something to taste, and appreciating that texture or the aroma or the taste, engaging their taste buds. Simple
Yeah. I think
techniques
what
to
you're trying to say, Dr. Agarwal, is that it's good to slow down,
yeah.
but not give up. It's good to sort of experience everything at a slower pace, accept that stage of life, but don't just give up and give in. Dr. Rana has something to add to that. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, with due respect, can I please ask something through you to the society? I mean, as we were growing up, we have
Yes.
seen the elderly, getting retired at the age of 60. Now we have seen, elderly getting retired at the age of 65. I would like to say to the society through you, I mean, this is my opinion, and I might be right or wrong. I believe that elderly people are the treasure of the society, right? They have a lot of things to give, intellectuality to give to the society in the terms of their experience, in the terms of riches of their wisdom. And I feel that they should aim to be independent till as long as possible. They should keep working till at I believe as long as possible. If they keep working, their mind will be exercised, their body will be exercised, they will be independent financially, and they will feel important about themselves. I believe that can solve many of the problems. So that is my humble opinion, ma'am.
Dr. Rana, I absolutely agree. In fact, there is an entire generation which keeps pressing on their parents to, now you should just retire, dad, or now you should just retire, mom, and take it easy in life, not knowing that retirement is actually not helping them. This
Absolutely.
is their way of life, this is their comfort zone, this is their happy space, and that must be encouraged, which is a huge learning curve for our generation, which is seeing our kids grow and our parents age. So we are that stage where we have to manage both, and both are pretty similar in some ways, as we discussed as well. But before I end, Dr. Chinu Agarwal, I have to talk about dietary issues. We are flashing some of them on the screens, but a lot of research talks about how your gut, being your second brain, is a major contributor to how you feel, how you think. So do you have some tips over there on what kind of diet one should look at in their senior years?
Yeah, so we know that serotonin, the endorphin, which boosts happiness, is secreted in the gut, not in the brain anywhere. And so gut health is linked to brain health. One of the things that we can help them to choose, assist them, is whole grains, whole food, and staying away from three S's. One is salt, one is spice, and one is sugar. But then they will say that what's remaining for us? There is a lot remaining when we can avoid sugars and refined oils, and there are hundreds of options that they can create for themselves. Why can't we encourage them to be involved in making their own menus for the day, cooking for themselves, cooking for others in the family, having, times where we are all trying out new dishes, more healthier options to eat. And one of the things that we can make a routine for the entire family is consuming nuts in the morning. Some whole nuts like walnuts. Walnut is known along with almond, is known to boost brain health. And then there are mood foods. Mood foods don't have to be ice creams, fatty or sugary things. Mood foods can be colorful salads and fruits and platters where, just looking at them, makes you feel good about them. And, having things which are closer to your home rather than going for fancy foods and shopping for things which they have not consumed their entire life. They might not take to them, their gut might not take to them, they might not be able to digest them or absorb them. Whatever they have eaten, accepting them and including them in their diet, I think, is going to help them, make it more palatable for them, make it more acceptable in the house.
I see.
So, yeah.
I see. I think easy, gentle life, easy, gentle activity, and easy and gentle diet. That should be the focus. And while it sounds quite easy, like we said, it's adaptation to it quite gradually, which is the key here. But the good news that I'm going to take away from this is that early detection can help, early information can help, and staying curious can help. I think those are the good takeaways for a lot of our seniors watching right now. So thank you both for joining us and keeping this sort of chat so lively. All right, on that note, let's cut across to more stories that are coming in from India and across the globe. We'll start with the one which is in headlines, which is from Baba Siddique, the senior leader from Ajit Pawar's NCP faction, was fatally shot by an unknown assailant in Bandra in Mumbai on 12th of October. Following the tragic news, Bollywood celebrities such as Salman Khan, Shilpa Shetty Kundra, they rushed to Lilavati Hospital to see him. In response to the alleged link to the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, Salman Khan's close relationship with Baba Siddique, security measures have been heightened outside the actor's apartment. The responsibility has been claimed by this group, saying that everybody will pay, even those close to Salman Khan. Recent videos from paparazzi sort of captured security personnel that were stationed outside Salman Khan's Galaxy apartment in Mumbai. An increase in security that followed the gunfiring incident near his residence again, which was in April of this year. SpaceX, in its fifth Starship test flight on Sunday, returned the rocket's towering first stage booster back to its Texas launch pad for the first time. This was using giant mechanical arms and another sort of form of
pressure nominal.
Thousands protesters on Sunday in Madrid to demand more affordable housing amid rising anger from Spaniards who feel they are being priced out of the market. Under the slogan, "Housing is a right, not a business," residents marched in the Spanish capital to demand lower housing rental prices and better living conditions. 12,000 people took to the streets, according to the Spanish government. Florida is now facing a long road to recovery following back-to-back once-in-a-lifetime storms from Hurricanes Milton and Helena. At least 17 people have been killed as a result of the Hurricane Milton, and it made landfall in Category 3 hurricane on Wednesday night in the Sarasota County Siesta Keys, sort of spawning dozens of tornadoes, strong winds, heavy rainfall, and devastating storm surge. All right, with that, we're going to slip into a break. On the other side, we've got a very inspirational conversation lined up for you. This is the first woman DG of the entire Armed Forces Medical Corps, Admiral Arti Sarin, who will be joining us on the program. She talks about her position, her incredible journey, and much more on the other side.
The entire nation was shaken up on the evening of Dussehra when they got to know, or the news was broke, that Baba Siddique, NCP leader, was shot dead. Right now I'm standing outside Zishan Siddique, that is Baba Siddique's son's office. This is the office where Baba Siddique had reached last night somewhere around 7:30 to meet his party workers, to meet people from this particular residential area and to solve their problems. And he was here till somewhere around 9 p.m. But when he basically wanted to leave, his car was parked just 50 to 100 steps away from this particular location, because this entire road which you are seeing right now was crowded due to the Dussehra procession. So I'll ask my camera person Rajesh to show you that area where the area which has been basically cordoned off or sealed by Mumbai police. This is the area where his vehicle was parked. And when somewhere around at 9:10 he was basically reached near his vehicle, there were two assailants or three assailants basically came and they shot 6 rounds in this particular area, out of which 2 bullets hit Baba Siddique directly in his chest. And at 9:30 he was basically rushed to the Leelavati hospital, which is almost 3 to 4 kilometers away from this particular location. Baba Siddique had recently joined NCP after leaving from Congress party, and this was a very shocking incident which had happened, because 15 days back, according to the politicians, according to his party men, he had basically received the death threat, and he had given the Y security. So in such scenario, where was his security, what they were doing, these questions remain still answered, because we haven't heard anything from the Mumbai police. If we talk about the NCP party, this is the second killing, we can say, in the span of 6 days, because just last week we heard the Sachin Kurmi, who was also NCP leader and office bearer, he was stabbed in Bhaikala area of Mumbai, and after that Baba Siddique was shot at this particular location. What police have said that so far they have nabbed 2 people, because after shooting at Baba Siddique, the 2 assailants basically were on the run, but as I said, that due to the Dussehra procession, the Mumbai police had basically done Mumbai police personnel were there at the main junction to manage the crowd. As I told you, that it was a crowded situation over here. So the Mumbai police personnel at that particular junction, they nabbed these 2 assailants, and now they are been shown as arrested, and now the questioning of them is underway. But what the Mumbai police sources have also revealed, that there could be a 4th guy also, because 3rd person is still on the run. He has not been arrested or he has not been nabbed, but the 4th person could be there, and his job was to basically give minute by minute information and the location of Baba Siddique to other 3 assailants. When we question the people in the power, when we question the Maharashtra CM and other people regarding this particular incident, the Maharashtra CM said that we will be putting this case in a fast track and no one will be basically spared. But
Welcome back. You're watching The Breakfast Club, and it's time on the program where we take a quick look at our AQI meter and what are the latest air quality updates in Delhi NCR. We are seeing alarming numbers now across the region. Anand Vihar in Delhi had topped the list again. Not surprises, actually no surprises there at all. AQI of 606, followed closely by Mundka in Delhi at 432. Other areas are also cause of concern. Narela in Delhi is about 252, Noida at 203, Gurugram at 239 over there. These numbers are well above the safety limit. We are just coming out of the Dussehra, effigy burnings as well, also contributing to all of it. and posing serious health risk for residents, especially those with respiratory issues. And like we just discussed in our story previously, all of this also contributing to major health issues, long-term issues as well. The advisory at the moment is to stay indoors, avoid outdoor activities, and also take all the necessary precautions, meaning get your air purifiers out, wear an N95 mask if you have to really step out, and ensure kids and the elderly are those who are most prevented. On TBC, we'll keep monitoring the situation for you every morning. With that, it's time to look at our person of interest this morning. Now, today we are thrilled to welcome Admiral Arti Sarin, the first woman to serve as the Director General of the Armed Forces Medical Services. Her journey is truly inspiring, spanning across 3 decades and encompassing all the 3 services where she has commanded some of our most prestigious institutes. With her expertise in radiology, oncology, Admiral Sarin is not just making waves in her field, but she's also paving the way for future generations of women leaders as well. As a shining icon of Nari Shakti initiative, she is a passionate advocate for women in the armed forces. Also, a little bit of backgrounder from her is from her commissioning back in 1985 to her current role. Admiral Sarin's story is one of dedication and empowerment. So let's dive in and get a glimpse of what really fuels her passion for uplifting women in the armed forces. Good morning, ma'am, and thanks so much for joining us here on the Breakfast Club. Thrilled to be speaking to the first DG, a woman DG of the Medical Corps here, and big congratulations to you on this appointment. Firstly, tell us, how does it feel to be making history at this point? And what message do you have for our younger women who are watching you right now?
First of all, thank you so much for your congratulatory message. And I feel really proud assuming the office of the DGFMS to head the Army Medical Corps. And my message would involve the word role model, because my role models have been my seniors, including 16 lady officers whom I'd like to acknowledge, who assumed the rank of general officer before me. And I have received encouragement and mentorship from each and every one of them to be able to be the DGFMS, a first for a woman in 77 years. And my message to the young women as a role model would be, set your goals on your own career choice. Prepare for this journey towards the goal. Get the best out of your education. Develop interpersonal communication skills, which are the most important, I think, in any profession, be it the armed forces, be it any other profession. Concentrate on physical fitness, which is lacking in our society today. And all of this will move you towards being very self-motivated and productive. And then you will become a role model for your juniors. And the world is really your canvas. And from there you can start a career. A very good one is one in the armed forces.
Well said, ma'am. You've had such a remarkable journey serving across all the 3 services actually. Could you share a memorable experience that has perhaps stayed with you throughout your career?
I have had several, like you've said, because it's been a career of 38 years. Remarkable memories. One are when I was posted at the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It was a very unique experience to be posted so far away, indulging in remote medical care, evacuating casualties when medical facilities were not what they are today. That's one of them. And after that, it was a routine, after which I did my specialization. But there was one very important event which has been featured even earlier, is the one where I was deputed on a duty for 3 months to Jammu and Kashmir to look after the civilian population during the days of militancy. The experiences I had, the people I met, and what I did has really stayed with me and kind of influenced my approach to everything in life.
Wow. Sounds quite extraordinary over there, ma'am. But also, you've been very passionate about motivating young women to join the armed forces. What do you think are the most important qualities or values perhaps needed to succeed in this field?
Most important qualities or values needed to succeed in this field are an all-round personality development that anyway that the armed forces will ensure when they take you in by continuously training you at all stages of your career. Like I said earlier, to set smart goals once you've chosen your career and teach and learn along your journey, celebrating your milestones each and every time. Be a leader, to be a leader, be a manager, to become a logistician, become an administrator, a good communicator, a multitasker that all women are very good at. And the most important, of course, is professional competence. That is the key to success in any field. And of course, self-motivation, a motivation to desire to serve the nation is what really required. And that comes when you train yourself so well.
Self-motivation turning out to be a key over there as well. But as the DG of Armed Forces Medical Services, you play a very critical role in shaping the medical policies for the armed forces as well. What are some of your key priorities as you take on this very important responsibility?
The key priorities that I intend to take up in this responsibility will be first to carry forward and consolidate the policies that have been already laid down by my seniors and predecessors. I will take those forward. I will take forward the vision statement of the DGFMS, aligning our goals with the Viksit Bharat 2047 initiative. All of the above towards achieving the highest standards of holistic health and all methodologies that would enhance the efficiency and the delivery of healthcare to each and every soldier, sailor, airmen, their dependents and veterans, both in combat as well as in peace. Be it digital transformation, miniaturization, upgradation of equipment in stores, training, national faculty as well as friendly foreign countries, I would take that forward. I would take innovation, I would take research forward through the Armed Forces Medical Services as well as through various agencies like ICMR, the IITs and the entire academia. I would also attempt to work upon physical fitness of the troops, prevention of injury, as well as mental health and resilience of our troops, which is right now very important, of the troops as well as their families.
Very important indeed, the mental health aspect that you have brought in there, ma'am. And finally, for all the young men and women watching today, what advice would you give them if they are dreaming of a career in the armed forces or in leadership roles just like yours?
What I would like to just advise everybody is, ensure you remain professionally sound throughout. I mean, you have to stay updated, even if you're very senior. You have to lead from the front. You have to draw strength from whatever you can lay your hand. Like lead from the front, draw strength from history's heroes, role models, fellow veterans. Your own inner fortitude is actually the most important part. Set in your SMART goals, approach them with teamwork. That's very important. Optimism is a force multiplier. Communication is the key. Be restless with status quo and inspire the young generation. They are gems. I work through the collective genius of my juniors. Continuous training is the mantra, a robust HR management system, and we must work towards personal as well as professional development of our juniors. So that would be in terms of leadership. And finally, to all the young men and women dreaming of a career in the armed forces, there is no better career than one in the armed forces. A profession, a way of life combined with a service to the nation. It is a profession that teaches you service before self, trains you to stay focused, disciplined, and determined. It encourages you to embrace challenges and opportunities and convert them into opportunities. Cultivate teamwork and kind of get into camaraderie. And above all, be a leader of men and women. You will have the advantage of an all-round personality development, healthcare, a good work-life balance, and the camaraderie and protection of the large armed forces family. You will do the nation and your family proud if you volunteer to be protectors of its freedom and guardians of its sovereignty and defenders of its democracy. So my message is join the armed forces and serve the nation.
That's a powerful pitch indeed. Admiral Arti, thank you so much for sharing your morning with us, for giving us so many words of wisdom and leaving us with so much of inspiration. And congratulations again on your new role and on making history. With that, we're going to slip into a quick break. Coming up on the other side is everything you need to know about the stock markets and also some cars.
The entire nation was shaken up on the evening of Dussehra when they got to know, or the news was broke, that Baba Siddique, NCP leader, was shot dead. Right now I'm standing outside Zishan Siddique, that is Baba Siddique's son's office. This is the office where Baba Siddique had reached last night somewhere around 7:30 to meet his party workers, to meet people from this particular residential area and to solve their problems. And he was here till somewhere around 9 p.m. But when he basically wanted to leave, his car was parked just 50 to 100 steps away from this particular location, because this entire road which you are seeing right now was crowded due to the Dussehra procession. So I'll ask my camera person Rajesh to show you that area where the area which has been basically cordoned off or sealed by Mumbai police. This is the area where his vehicle was parked. And when somewhere around at 9:10 he was basically reached near his vehicle, there were three assailants basically came and they shot 6 rounds in this particular area, out of which 2 bullets hit Baba Siddique directly in his chest. And at 9:30 he was basically rushed to the Leelavati hospital, which is almost 3 to 4 kilometers away from this particular location. Baba Siddique had recently joined NCP after leaving from Congress party, and this was a very shocking incident which had happened, because 15 days back, according to the politicians, according to his party men, he had basically received the death threat, and he had given the Y security. So in such scenario, where was his security, what they were doing, these questions remain still answered, because we haven't heard anything from the Mumbai police. If we talk about the NCP party, this is the second killing we can say in the span of 6 days, because just last week we heard the Sachin Kurmi, who was also NCP leader and office bearer, he was stabbed in Bhaikala area of Mumbai, and after that Baba Siddique was shot at this particular location. What police have said that so far they have nabbed 2 people, because after shooting at Baba Siddique, the 2 assailants basically were on the run, but as I said, that due to the Dussehra procession, the Mumbai police had basically done Mumbai police personnel were there at the main junction to manage the crowd. As I told you, that it was a crowded situation over here. So the Mumbai police personnel at that particular junction, they nabbed these 2 assailants, and now they are been shown as arrested, and now the questioning of them is underway. But what the Mumbai police sources have also revealed, that
Welcome back. It's time to take you through our overdrive segment, and today we've got a very interesting car. It's Kia's new electric flagship, the EV9, which has arrived in middle of the festive season. It's priced at about 1.3 CR, and this luxurious electric SUV sort of boasts of impressive performance and cutting-edge features. But we don't know a lot about cars. Overdrive does, and they had a closer look.
This is the Kia EV9. It's a 3-row SUV that costs 1.3 crores. It's Kia's new flagship in India. So let's see what it's all about. Now, of course, you can't miss this really striking presence of the EV9, and that's largely down to this really vertically stacked headlamp cluster. Now, you've seen this in many Kia products, but it's really quite exaggerated here. And just going with a theme, of course, you have that blank face, it's an EV. But just in the way these LEDs, they're sort of completely flush, sort of patterned into the plastic, which is really high quality, looks really high class and very different, and that just flows into it, so it gives it a very different look. Now this huge thing is the DRL. It's somewhat similar to what you've seen in the new Seltos and Sonnet, but of course sort of exaggerated to a higher degree. Here you see the indicators working, and there's more to it. Now of course this car is completely feature loaded, so you get this 360-degree camera, you get the ADAS sensor, and there's also a lot of aerodynamic aids that are going on, of course, this being an EV. So you have these air curtains which sort of close and open like in a lot of high-end cars, and also some inlets here to sort of channel air through the big body of the car. Now the EV9 is based on the eGMP architecture. You've seen this in many Hyundais and Kias, and it's the same that's in the EV6, but of course it's been enlarged into this new shape. So you have all those benefits of a born electric sort of model. So you have this 52-litre frunk here. This is the all-wheel drive model, which is why it's slightly smaller than, say, what the two-wheel drive model would have been. And there's also good drag coefficient. It's 0.28. It's maybe not the best, but it's pretty decent for such a large, big SUV. Now here's a look at just how big the EV9 is. It's almost at par with the Carnival in terms of its sheer size. But of course, there's that SUV sort of shape to it. So it's got that butch presence to it. Now I'll give you some numbers. It's over 5 meters long. The wheelbase is about 3.1 meters. And you have these massive 20-inch wheels. Now you have this really neat aero design to it, 20 inches. And there are a few more stuff that you find in EVs nowadays. You have these flush door handles. Of course, a roof rail, this being an EV. And yeah, like I said, even though the front is really quite exaggerated, you see the glass here, it's quite functional, it's quite practical, large windows, this sort of C-pillar here, the windscreen here, the quarter glass, it's really quite large to sort of give you that family SUV sense to it. Now there's also quite a bit of ground clearance for an EV at least. There's 198 mm, that's quite significant for an EV. Now given that the Kia EV9 is right at the top of the Kia sort of food chain, it's the flagship of the brand, you do notice that the interiors too sort of reflect that. They're quite a step above what you expect from, say, a Seltos, even the Carnival as we know it. And you really notice it in this sort of modern design. Now there are some soft materials. It's of course not up to the grade of the full fat luxury brands that the Kia is competing with this car, but it's really quite good. You won't feel shortchanged for the price, I feel, to a certain extent as well. But you have this sort of floating effect to this fabric panel here, these air vents, the way they function, sort of different textures, just the right hint of chrome here. And all of that really does make you feel quite special. But what's really striking is again that in the way Kia has used that electric architecture to good effect. Now, to start with, yeah, these buttons, some of you, this sort of capacitive sort of sense to it may not be the best. It does have some haptic feedback to it, but it's not the easiest to use on the move. But yeah, you still do have some tactile controls, say for the climate controls. But now coming to what is actually quite unique is this section, because it's based on that skateboard architecture, it's completely flat. So you do notice that you have a lot of space here, your usual many USB ports and 12-volt outlets. And even here, I must say, even though it is in the lower reaches of the compartment, quality is not that bad. It's still reasonably good. And then there's this sort of center section here. You get this sliding cover which holds these cup holders. It's very European, it's very high quality, which is great. You have a few buttons, say, for the cameras. I'll put them up here. Again, you've seen these cameras in other Hyundais and Kia, so that's not very different, but it's reasonably good quality.
Next, we bring you a special segment on the financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's start with how markets are pegged to open this morning. Indian markets are likely to open today higher, as indicated by the trends in GIFT Nifty. Asian markets are trading marginally higher amid rebound in Chinese stocks. A strong closing in the US market on Friday indicates a positive undercurrent as well. Crude oil prices, meanwhile, are trading lower on demand concerns after China inflation unexpectedly cools in September. Shifting our focus to sector, the one in focus today, the Indian passenger vehicle market has a long way to go. From humble beginnings with small cars, the demand pattern has evolved with a decision shift towards utility vehicles. This trend is positive for unit realization as well as operating margin for companies as well. Will they turn up into a mega IPO, therefore enjoy a smooth ride as well? That's the question. And you can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about what's in store for India's automobile sector and various other actionable insights on the market. It's a premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control. With that, it's a wrap on today's show. Tomorrow, we are talking about something very exciting, which is about your screen addiction. No matter the age that we are in, all of us are hooked on to our screens. And now, studies indicate that kids who did not have screen exposure earlier in life tend to do better mentally as well. So what should the schools do? Should they ban mobile phones, all iPads, all digital learning? This very interesting conversation will be picked up tomorrow. We'll see you at 8. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
The entire nation was shaken up on the evening of Dussehra when they got to know, or the news was broke, that Baba Siddique, NCP leader, was shot dead. Right now I'm standing outside Zishan Siddique, that is Baba Siddique's son's office. This is the office where Baba Siddique had reached last night somewhere around 7:30 to meet his party workers, to meet people from this particular residential area and to solve their problems. And he was here till somewhere around 9 p.m. But when he basically wanted to leave, his car was parked just 50 to 100 steps away from this particular location, because this entire road which you are seeing right now was crowded due to the Dussehra procession. So I'll ask my camera person Rajesh to show you that area where the area which has been basically cordoned off or sealed by Mumbai police. This is the area where his vehicle was parked. And when somewhere around at 9:10 he was basically reached near his vehicle, there were two assailants or three assailants basically came and they shot 6 rounds in this particular area, out of which 2 bullets hit Baba Siddique directly in his chest. And at 9:30 he was basically rushed to the Leelavati hospital, which is almost 3 to 4 kilometers away from this particular location. Baba Siddique had recently joined NCP after leaving from Congress party, and this was a very shocking incident which had happened, because 15 days back, according to the politicians, according to his party men, he had basically received the death threat, and he had given the Y security. So in such scenario, where was his security? What they were doing? These questions remain still answered, because we haven't heard anything from the Mumbai police. If we talk about the NCP party, this is the second killing, we can say, in the span of 6 days, because just last week we heard the Sachin Kurmi, who was also NCP leader and office bearer, he was stabbed in Bhaikala area of Mumbai, and after that Baba Siddique was shot at this particular location. What police have said that so far they have nabbed 2 people, because after shooting at Baba Siddique, the 2 assailants basically were on the run, but as I said, that due to the Dussehra procession, the Mumbai police had basically done Mumbai police personnel were there at the main junction to manage the crowd. As I told you, that it was a crowded situation over here. So the Mumbai police personnel at that particular junction, they nabbed these two assailants, and now they are been shown as arrested, and now the questioning of them is underway. But what the Mumbai police sources have also revealed, that there could be a fourth guy also, because third person is still on the run. He has not been arrested or he has not been nabbed, but the fourth person could be there, and his job was to basically give minute by minute information and the location of Baba Siddique to other three assailants. When we question the people in the power, when we question the Maharashtra CM and other people regarding this particular incident, the Maharashtra CM said that we will be putting this case in fast track and no one will be basically spared. But this particular incident has basically not only shaken up the entire country.
Hello and good morning. Thank you for watching CNN.